Out the gate, the Asset doesn't behave like the tactical blade you might think it is.
This is stupid. Oh! Dude, that just racked me. Oh, yikes.
It's the grind geometry and belly that make it baton and cut more like a woods knife.
You know, the design, you'd be like, oh, it's just, you know, for stabbing stuff. Dragon's breath.
And what I'm really excited about is that this is our first run-in with Bohler K329 Steel.
This is after a couple days of use. Look at the high polish on that edge still.
And guys, I'm just excited to have a work tough design back in the Blade boot camp for testing after a several-year hiatus, and to discover with you if this has true crossover capability, or is it just a woods knife in tactical clothing, as we compare it to some other competitive options a little later in the video, and just so much more. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in and have some fun. Now, when it comes to battle blades, tactical knives, field knives, whatever you want to call it, usually the ergonomics are very aggressive with very deep lock-in points that are awesome for traction and keeping you locked into place for a stab, but suck when it comes to carving and whittling or just extended heavy-duty push cuts.
And you can see here that where my finger rests and just the scalloping right there around the neck, and then the tapering as well, allows for an unusual amount of ergonomics that you grip right here, you pinch right here, or you push right there, and you're gonna get multiple comfortable grip points for different types of cuts. This is a camo G10. I believe Vic usually uses G10. There might be some micarta out there, but it's usually G10. So like basically impervious to moisture and stuff. This has orange liners, super cool, and has kind of like an alligator texture that at first I was like, is this gonna cause hot spots? Absolutely not, after all the time of use with this thing. And we got all contoured shoulders. We got flaring on the back bird beak with that striker glass breaker pommel with the bird beak, and then all of that scalloping up front that I've hit on, and then the not sharp jimping. That is some of the best jimping. Like, it's milled, it's rounded, it's shallow, and then obviously that super deep guard. And this thing is thick and full and large. Let's go. I'm digging it.
And guys, there are several different colorways on these handles to choose from. This isn't the only pattern available, but it's pretty apparent that it does have the lockup and traction for stabbing and piercing and slashing, but it has the ergonomics for long extended cutting tasks, which is a rarity in these type of designs. Now, the blade design and the steel choice are so interesting to me because we have a 5-inch blade overall on a 2/3 high flat grind and a stock thickness of 0.177, so just a hair under 3/16 of an inch thick. And we have this very elongated straight blade into kind of an abrupt fat belly and a clipped swedged blade. And then we have that fuller, I mean, it just looks really aggressive and kind of a unique stance. And then we have this Swedish-made Bohler K329 Steel with an HRC of 58 to 60, and it has about 8% chromium in it, so it's rated as a cold work, high performance tool steel, which just sounds freaking cool. But like you, I'm really curious if the rumors are true about its wear resistance and durability.
And we'll hit that in just a second, but it's time for the sponsor of this video, which is Veer watches. Now, I've been rocking my Veer watches for a year now, and these suckers just keep on ticking, literally. And it's awesome to have a company that's based right here in America and assembles many of their designs right here with their American workforce and using super high quality materials like Japanese solar and automatic movements, along with screw down lockout crowns so that you're not going to accidentally pop that open, ruining the waterproof seal and destroying your timepiece. And with that 100-meter rating of waterproof capability, you're going to have confidence that this is going to be able to go through all sorts of different environments. And I'm more partial to their classic field watches, but they have tons of other designs, and you can choose from 3 different movements, including quartz, solar, and automatic. That's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. There's so much going on over there at Veer. So I encourage you, check out the link popping up. It's in the description box below as well, where you can go explore, see what watch may make the most sense for you. And if you subscribe to their newsletter, you're gonna get 10% off your first purchase. Just saving you some extra cash there. So check them out, guys, and stay on time when you're planning out your next adventure.
All right, let's get after it and see what this K329 can really do, you know.
And leave a comment. I want to know what's like the weirdest or craziest thing you ever had to cut through, for real, not just because you're being silly and, you know, testing something like I do, but, you know, like especially maybe those of you who served or people who are in the trades, you've had to use like not a utility knife, but an actual pocket knife or fixed blade. That would be a fun topic. What did you cut through? What type of material and why? Leave a little story below. There we go. Very good. Okay, this black pipe has been like the bane of my existence. I just want to see. Ooh, dude. Okay, that just speaks to that edge geometry. Oh my gosh. Nothing really short of utility knives, meaning like box cutters, replaceable blades, have I been able to cut with that. That's one of the better edges you're gonna find, guys. That is awesome. All right, what if there's a hostage situation? You gotta cut through some heavy duty zip tie. Try not to mind the freaking, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Rat's nest of cordage. And we have a very small, this is what's cool too, is we normally don't have a really small ricasso. A lot of times, think of like a lot of, especially the older, they're a little bit better now, but like the SRK, think of Gerber STRONGARM. There's these huge blank portions, so you're just so far away from the cutting edge. The cutting edge is way closer, which is a very good thing right there. Boom. So it's pretty obvious that when it comes to utility, this thing is no freaking joke. Oh yeah, dude, look at that. It's always a pleasure to make feather sticks and just do carving on a knife that really like shouldn't, you know, the design, you'd be like, oh, it's just, you know, for stabbing stuff. But you're like, oh yeah, I can stab stuff, but then I can do this. And be like, ooh la la. Okay, this is stupid. That's about as crazy wild and wide as I would test it, because I can barely engage with that tip, dude, but it just went right through a freaking knot. Why are you doing that then? I always love the comments, you know, like, that's what a hatchet's for. I know, brah, but maybe I don't have a hatchet. Could I still split wood with the knife I have? Well, you shouldn't be out in the woods anyway. Okay. Okay, bro. Whatever you say. Of course, a dedicated hatchet is probably better. Of course. Look at that, I'm going right through a freaking notzo. Oh my gosh, get it. Dude, this wood is all twisted. It is nasty. But sometimes you need a nasty blade to get through the, oh. Dude, that just racked me. Oh, yikes. I've had it ricochet up in my face once or twice. Hence why I'm testing. I don't need freaking splinters in my eyeballs. That's why I wear safety nods. I'm in a unique mood today, guys. Okay. I mean, you can see how much it's biting. I mean, it's just gobbling up the wood. Look at that. Just... Instead of, if it was like a thicker, broader grind, I'd be like, meow, meow. Yeah. Dude, it's not just always about feather sticking. Sometimes you just need to manhandle a stick. There it is. Okay, listen, I'm not purposely making a bunch of innuendos today. It just happened that way. Okay. There it is. Get it. Oh my gosh, do you see that? Look at, that's like, you could eat off of that thing. Smooth as glass, that piece of wood right there. Instead of like, that's why serrations suck. Unless you're literally like on a ship, you're a Navy man, and you gotta just go through rope. I hate serrations. I freaking hate them. Okay. Leave a comment if you are the guy that like loves serrations on your fixed blades. I need to know. The percentage, it's got to be small. Okay, so they've given us about maybe 2 inches of uncoated full 90 right there for throwing the sparks. I'm using UBERLEBEN wick with a bellows. You can pull this thing out, blow on a fire. It actually works exceptionally well. It's basically my go-to. Has been for years with a giant UBERLEBEN fire steel rod. And oh yeah, flamethrower, dude. Dragon's breath. Yeah, so this is what's cool though. Now I can like light stuff everywhere and be like, ooh, la la la. So these are super dope. I'll try and link these if I can. These things are my go-to. Look at that, still got a lot of polish on that edge, and that's after multiple trips out and all the abuse you're seeing, plus some in this video, and I have yet to resharpen it. So I need some more time with the blade and a few other knives with this steel to really get a good idea on what it's like, but I can tell you that the toughness and the wear resistance are absolutely there. It is performing exceptionally well, and because it's not really a true carbon, it's not really a true stainless, and it's got this hybrid tool steel, the Rockies where I live, it's very dry, but I'm not seeing any rusting or anything like that. But if you live in a very high humid environment, you'll have to keep an eye, especially on that uncoated edge and the uncoated spine there. Now, we got to hit competitive options, we got to hit pricing, and the two aspects I've discovered that are potential drawbacks to making this a dedicated combat knife or tactical blade. And it may make or break the design for you depending on how you want to deploy it. I'm going to hit that here in just a moment. So let's go ahead first and just hit pricing. And I do appreciate Vic sending me this sample so I could test it out, show you pros, cons. They didn't pay or sponsor the video in any way, shape, or form. Vic owns the company. He does most of the work, if not all the work. For 185 bucks on average is what this goes for. I'll have links to DLT Trading and any of the other distributors, as well as WorkTuff's website itself, that you can check those affiliate links out. For 185 bucks, I mean, for everything that we're getting and the durability, it feels like a custom, built knife, because Vic is doing all of this work and all the details. It's very hard to find this level of detail and quality on like mid-tech. They do runs and they do batches, so they're available for a while and then they're out. It's phenomenal. So, in under 200 bucks. Now, the first issue is with this sheath, not in its quality. The quality is fantastic. Great kydex, lashing points everywhere, drainage hole. It locks the blade into place. Super solid. You're not going to lose it. It doesn't rattle. That's just the leather. That's just the nylon strap. It's got a button snap. It's ambidextrous. There's zero complaints that I have with that. The issue is the broadness. Look at how broad and big this sheath is. When you compare that to something like a Gerber STRONGARM, it dwarfs it in size. So in the combat sense, in the tactical utility sense, strapping this on a chest pack at 1 pound for the entire package, that is a heavy beast. So on your chest, on some sort of LBE system, and how broad it is, it's going to be taking up a lot of space. Even on a battle belt, it's going to be taking up a lot of space there, that something like, say, a Gerber STRONGARM just isn't going to take up as much real estate, and it's going to weigh significantly less. The knife itself would be the second aspect that you need to consider, the actual weight itself. 12 ounces. 12 ounces for a 5-inch blade is heavy. It's not very nimble and quick in the hand. Great for woods working, but if we're talking about like self-defense rolls, piercing, slashing, moving the blade, when we weigh it compared to the Gerber STRONGARM, which is only 7 and some change, that's a significant weight difference. And we got the same blade length. Now this is MAGNACUT, USA made, about 160 to 170. I'll link all the competitive options. Everything we're talking about, it's all linked below in the description. So now the quality, I feel like, and the fit and finish and everything on the WorkTuff is more there. And if we were to go camping, I would prefer this. But if we're talking about battle belts, combat, stuff like that, chest rigs, this is going to be just a slimmer package, lighter weight to consider. And even if we look at the LIONSTEEL T5, same thing, 9 ounces, so still lighter. And it's about the same size. So it's just kind of something to consider there. And this is best to be attached to the belt or in the pack, is how I view this, and not really, attached in a bunch of different ways depending on how you're wanting to deploy it. The second aspect really comes down to that tip. You can see here on the LIONSTEEL especially, the LIONSTEEL is actually a more aggressive piercing tip than the abrupt belly on the WorkTuff. Great for slicing, pull cuts, draw cuts, cleaning fish and game, things like that.
That doesn't mean it won't pierce. It will. It just, the geometry is kind of different, and you might find some sliding in certain piercing motions depending on what you're piercing, and it's just a unique choice in the blade. So ultimately, I feel like because of its weight, because of the footprint of the sheath, and because of the geometry of the belly and transition to the tip, I would say this is 65% for woods and about 35% for, you know, like tactical combat applications, which is probably where most of us sit. So if you actually like using your blades mostly in the outdoors, like myself, but you want to be able to trust it in a go bag or when the crap hits the fan, this might be ultimately one of the better designs. But if you're looking for more of a dedicated tactical blade, there might be better options like I've highlighted here today. So leave a comment below on what you think about this design, especially if you own one. How's it been performing for you? Maybe some other work toughs you'd like to see tested out here on the channel. Do appreciate you guys hanging with me today. I invite you to check out the other videos, subscribe, and always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.